What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 38 of Locker Talk Live. I am your host, Wack, and joining me today, as always, is Scotty T and Shana. Guys, I want to start with you, Scott. I know we got a big day today with the launch of VYPE Insider. Tell us a little bit about that. Scotty, I know you're kind of helping out, head up that thing. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man, VYPE Insider, we're super excited about it. It's going to be a way for us to provide more premium content to the readership, because really that's what everybody wants. So we're going to keep a bunch of things free still, so don't worry about it. You can still read up on some of your favorite teams here, but for some other stuff, for maybe more of our video long-form articles or some other premium type content, we're going to be putting it behind VYPE Insider. So that's why you need to go sign up right now. Josh has got the killer graphic up there. $1.99 a month if you pay yearly, or $2.99 if you want to go with the monthly option. So there's an article. We're all over social, so that's why you need to go follow us on all of the social media platforms. VYPE Houston, DFW, Austin, San Antonio. All the links are up there to go subscribe, so be sure to go do that. While you're doing it, you can click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can watch our beautiful faces and our commentary every single day coming to you with some good content. We're super pumped about it. Josh, it's raining down here. I don't know what it's like in Austin. Shana, I don't know what it's like in DFW. I'm kind of nervous that there might not be some Friday Night Lights tonight, but TBD, especially with all these schools going to turf field. So hopefully that helps with the drainage. But we got some bad weather out here. That's why I got the rain jacket on today.
Yeah, it's been a little bit rainy out here. I know in DFW and Shana will attest. I know Southlake Carroll canceled their game yesterday. Now they're playing at 2 p.m. today, something you usually don't see on a Friday, a 2 p.m. game. So, it's definitely affecting everyone. We'll see how it affects some of the streams tonight with the internet quality. You know how that can be hit or miss with the rain. Knock on wood, that internet connection's good. But Scott, it's also raining W's in Houston. Didn't the Astros clinch between our last show and now? Aren't they officially clinched for the playoffs?
We are AL West champions. Let's go. 4th division title in 5 years. Super pumped, man. Like, the Astros are back in the playoffs. This has been quite the run that the Astros are on. We'll see if we can get it done in the World Series. You never know. That's why you play, especially in baseball. It's pretty wild. Baseball is not as predictable, in my opinion, as especially basketball. Basketball is really predictable, unless you're Giannis, the Greek freak, and just dominate everybody. But yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. That was on AT&T. If you turn on to the alternative channel, Connor Wingman and Bridgeland put on a show against Cy Wood. So there's a lot of good things going on in Houston right now. And my Baylor Bears are 4-0. Sup?
Be looking out for potentially one of those plays from the game last night being one of our plays of the week. Stand by for that on Saturday to find out. Let's turn it over to Shana. Shana, how are things in the DFW area?
Oh, things are good. Things are good. Sorry. We had a lot of, expected blowout wins last night. Southlake, Carroll, and Keller did move to 2 p.m. today. Be looking forward to that game. I think it's going to be a really big battle of the unbeatens. And then Flower Mound went 33-14 over Plano yesterday, Flower Mound Marcus. And a little bit of controversy at that game. With less than 30 seconds to go, Marcus was up 26-14, and they threw a touchdown pass anyway. Kind of to secure the deal and get their win, but even the commentators were a little surprised at that because the coaches are friends.
I wonder if they had a conversation about that. I would love to see if any reporters asked Flower Mound Marcus why they ended up doing that. I think I might have talked about it on this show, but maybe not. But when Lake Travis played San Marcos, it was a blowout game. And they actually tried to score as time extended. They could have kneeled down and ran off the play. It was a 4th and goal. Lake Travis had it. They could have easily just let the clock run out, but they ran a play. Now, and my excuse for that one, or not my excuse, but the reasoning I kind of tracked was that, okay, well, Lake Travis had a lot of their second string in. It's a good opportunity for them for situational football, right? 4th and goal. game, you can say game on the line, go score, right? Game wasn't on the line, but situational football. So I got it in that respect. So but this one's a little more interesting. I don't think the second string was probably in for Flower Marcus. So I would be interested, Shana, in seeing what the reasoning was behind that. We'll have to keep our eyes open for some of these Dallas newspapers to see if they got the scoop. I don't know how you. I'm assuming you haven't seen anything, have you, Shana?
I haven't seen anything. I did think about emailing both coaches to see maybe like you said, situational. Did they talk about it? They did have, and I could be wrong, but I think they did have a backup quarterback in. Maybe they're getting him some reps. I don't know.
Yeah, it is always interesting. I just looked. There is nothing on Google when you search for Flower Mound Marcus football. Nothing as far as news looks like is out yet on that. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open for that one though. Let's get to our picks. We talked about the games yesterday. There were some good games yesterday. But now this is our Friday show. Our Friday show involves picking some of the games across the state of Texas. We have 6, and I already know y'all two each said y'all want to talk about a little bit more. So we got some games to get to. So let's go ahead and get to the ones that are the 6 picks. First, the first one is Reagan taking on Madison. This game, it's interesting. We got Reagan at 2-2, Madison at 3-1. Madison's only loss coming to an undefeated and state-ranked Smithson Valley squad. So, not too sure what to make of that game. Let's start with Shana here. Shana, who you got in this one?
I really think both teams are going to put up a fight. Like you said, Madison did lose to Smithson Valley, but we know Smithson Valley is a strong team. You really can't count that loss against them too badly. Ultimately, I think that there's no doubt in my mind. I think Madison will take this game.
All right, there we go. Let's turn it over to Scotty. Scotty, who do you have?
Yeah, man. I don't know. Am I on lag? Is my internet okay?
You seem okay on my end. You seem okay on my end.
Great. I think I got to go Madison on this one. I don't know. Just kind of got a gut feeling having that one loss against Smithson Valley. This is I'm not as familiar with these teams, so my pick might be as informed for the listenership out there. But I think Madison gets it done tonight and moves on to 4-1 on the season.
Yeah, this one's interesting for me. I think it can go a long way in saying how this district might go. I am going to go Madison as well, though. Got a former coach that used to coach for San Marcos. He's now over for Madison, so I'm going to show them some love here. Let's move on to our next game. Staying in San Antonio. San Antonio Johnson, undefeated, taking on Churchill, who's not having too hot of a season. Shana, who do you got?
Churchill is having a rough start to the season. I think like we said yesterday, some teams are just on different trajectories. I think Churchill is one of those teams that's kind of on a different path this season. So I'm going to have to go with Johnson. I think McCreary especially is going to have a really strong game for the Jaguars.
Scotty, let's turn it over to you. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I agree with Shana. I'm going Johnson on this one to come out with the dub.
It looks like we are going to have a clean sweep here on this one. I am also picking Johnson. I think they are just playing too well right now for us to really go against. So I am also taking Johnson. Moving on to the DFW area, we have Denton Geyer taking on Prosper. This one is a good matchup for sure. I'm going to come to Scotty first on this one. Scotty, who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to leave most of the analysis to this one for Shana. I said I'm going Geyer. Geyer's really impressed early on this season, beating Atascocita, beating Denton Ryan. I think they keep it rolling and take down Prosper this week.
All right, Shana, give us that insight.
Prosper is 3-2 this season, and their losses have come against Little M and Southlake Carroll. Obviously, Southlake Carroll is going to win against a team like Prosper, but something that you have to remember is when teams are good and Prosper is good, they're coming off of a loss. They're going to have some fire in their heart. They're going to want to go out there and they're going to win. On the other hand, Denton Geyer is on another level of football this season. They are out there rolling, they're out there grinding, and they're getting things done. I have to go with Geyer on this one.
All right, there we go. Let me put it back on you so we can, boom, there you go, Geyer. Gotta show you that love right there. All right, so it's my turn. Am I going to go Geyer as well? The answer is yes. I think Geyer is. I think what they've done so far this season has me believing that this game should be theirs. Yeah, pretty easy right there. Next up, a little bit of a unique one for us. First time mentioning these teams on the show. South Oak Cliff taking on Mesquite Poteet. Shana, give us the lowdown on this one.
Kevin Henry Jennings is doing amazing for South Oak Cliff. And something to consider is that South Oak Cliff hasn't lost a district game since 2014. That is a long record. I think Mesquite Poteet will likely be their toughest game this season yet. But Poteet's defense is going to really have to be on their game to put a stop to South Oak Cliff. I think ultimately for Mesquite Poteet, Joey Shaw, he's amazing on the ground. He's going to put up a big fight, but ultimately South Oak Cliff has this. I don't see their streak ending.
Scotty, do you agree with this assumption?
Shana, that's why she's a DFW writer. She knows it. South Oak Cliff continues the district win streak. I didn't realize it was since 2014. That's a long time to keep it running. There were some streaks snapped last year, including Katy, who I'm sure we'll get to, and also Lamar losing to Houston Heights. But South Oak Cliff keeps it rolling, comes away with the dub.
So far, it's been a clean sweep of picks. Everyone's picked the same team. Not this time. I'm going to go Mesquite Poteet here. Got to go different. I think Mesquite Poteet, like Shana said, will be the toughest test for South Oak Cliff in district. And you know what? I'm going to have to pick them here. Hey, sometimes it works when I do it, right? I've had some success doing this. So, let's not stop that momentum here. So I think Mesquite Poteet will come in and get this home win. I think the home crowd might help them out a little bit. And they're going to get that W. So Mesquite Poteet in this one. Let's move on to our other. Let's move on to our Houston area games. We have Summer Creek taking on CE King. CE King has really kind of, I wouldn't say exploded, but onto the scene. But they've had a good start. They've had a good start to this year as they head into district play. Actually, the second game of district and Summer Creek. I mean, they are 4-0 as well. Let's see. I don't know if they've played district game yet. Let me check a look here. They have not. So they had a bye week. So they are heading into their first first district game. Excuse me. Scott, what happens in this contest?
I had to double check that I was off mute because don't want that happening again. This is a really interesting matchup. So, yeah, Summer Creek opening up against district play. They've beaten everybody they pretty handily, I might add, looking at their schedule. Friendswood, DeCaney, Conroe, then Houston Westside. CE King, though, man, they have a really good win against a tough Ridgepoint team. Ridgepoint was coming off the loss of Calvin Henry at left tackle, so maybe that played a factor. But they stopped the 2-point conversion, come away with the win, and then put it on to Huntsville, a traditional 5A power, 49-46 a couple of weeks ago. CE King is a sneaky team here in the Houston area. So is Summer Creek. Summer Creek, they got Calvin Banks anchoring the offensive line. He's committed to Oregon, 5-star guy. So they got some talent. Summer Creek has some talent. But at the end of the day, I think CE King Panthers get it done, continue the undefeated season, and really put teams on notice here in the city of Houston as a potential threat to come out of Region 3.
Shana, do you agree with this assessment? Who do you have in this one?
I think this is going to be the toughest matchup either of these teams have seen this season so far. I think Summer Creek's depth is absolutely incredible, and they have what it takes to win the game. But I'm going to go with King on this one. I think they put a stop to Summer Creek's 4-0 start.
Now it's on to me. Do I do what I did just the game ago and go different from you guys?
You won't.
Here's what's interesting about this game, right? So both of these teams play Atascocita and North Shore back to back. I may be frozen. Let me restart my camera here. Give me a second, guys. There we go. My bad. There we go.
Though.
Hey, it gets the good features, right? So Atascocita and North Shore, they play. Am I freezing again? Oh my goodness, I am. What is going on with my camera today, guys? I did not know. So we may just have to put it on your faces if mine keeps on freezing. But they play Atascocita and North Shore back to back. Each of them do. So CE King gets a bye week after this game, and then they got Atascocita and North Shore. Summer Creek does not have a bye week, and they play Atascocita next week and then North Shore right after. So both of these teams need this win before going into the two toughest weeks of their schedule so far this season. With that being said, I think with a bye week ahead, I think CE King is going to have a little more oomph knowing they have a week to rest. So I am going CE King in this one. I'm not going to play it different from you guys at all. Our last game for the official pick'ems, if you will, is Spring taking on Westfield. This is the big one across the state, if you ask me. Both teams very impressive so far this year. Westfield, as we know, coming in with that very impressive victory over North Shore, who we just mentioned. And then you got Spring, who so far this year has been doing tremendously well. And as we all know, this is a big revenge game for Westfield because Spring beat them on the Hail Mary last year. So Westfield's coming out for blood. Westfield also has, I think it's 15 of the last 18 they've won against Spring. So, they're looking to get back on that trend while Spring is looking to start a new trend, if you will. Shannon, let's start with you. Who you got in this one?
Westfield has been very impressive. Don't get me wrong. They're an amazing team. But I think that Davenport is truly unstoppable. He simply does it all. I'm giving this one to Spring.
There we go. You heard it from Shana first, and now let's turn to Scott. Who do you have in this one?
Like you said, the revenge game. Spring ISD, Spring High versus Westfield. The stakes, in my opinion, are very high, actually, because not only is there a lot of bragging rights, there could be potential playoff seeding implications in this as well. So whoever comes out and winning this district, these are the two teams that are favored to win the district. Man, this is tough because we talked a lot about it in the preview game yesterday. You got Cardell Williams versus Bishop Davenport at the quarterback position. You got that Westfield defense that is just stout. They are so good. They fly around, tough nose defense that's not afraid to hit you and pop you in the mouth. I'm so torn on this because Shana's right. Bishop Davenport has been on a mission, and Spring has impressed in every facet of the game so far this year. This is going to be by far their toughest test. I think Westfield gets it done. I'm breaking off. I can't believe I just said that. I'm going Westfield because Spring, I know Will Turboff is huge on Spring and deservedly so. They are a great team. I think that Westfield, because of what happened last year with the Hail Mary, I think they are just going to come out with so much fire, passion, and intensity. My caution is that I hope it's not too much because sometimes you can be overhyped, try to play too hard. They got to let the game come to him, play good, sound, disciplined defense, and then Cardell Williams has to do his thing on offense. I think Westfield. Westfield gets it done.
All right, so y'all two are split, so it comes down to me. Who do I think is going to win? Like you mentioned, Spring is Will's, quote unquote team of destiny, if you will. No pun intended there. Do they have enough to beat Westfield? Like I mentioned, Westfield has had the best of them, for the better part of 2 decades. Last year, Spring got the better of them, and with Bishop Davenport, do you pick against him? And they're just looking at their schedule. This is it for Spring, right? If if they win this game, they should be able to handle the rest of the opponents on their schedule. So it's going to be a big one for Spring. I'm going to go Spring in this one. I think Bishop Davenport is on a mission this year. I've been convinced of it. Was convinced me of it, I should say. So I'm going to go Spring in this one to get the W. I know you two have some other games you want to talk about. Shannon, give me one of those games for you right now that we should kind of pick.
Since Southlake, Carroll, and Keller are playing at 2, let's go ahead and go with that one. They're both really good teams. They're both 5-0. They're both hungry. They want both of them. I think in this game have different things to prove. I think Keller wants to prove that they can beat a team like Southlake Carroll, and I think Southlake Carroll wants to prove that they're not out. Obviously they're not. They're 5-0, but they want to prove that there's more to Southlake Carroll than really strong quarterbacks, and there is. Yes, Caden Anderson is doing absolutely amazing this year, but Owen Allen is too. He's one of the top running backs in the DFW area. Lots of people think it's going to be a blowout with Southlake Carroll, but I think it's going to be really, really close. Ultimately, I'm picking Southlake Carroll.
Scott, how about you in this one? Does Keller get the upset?
In my heart, I believe in the underdog. Who doesn't love the underdog, right? Those Southlake Carroll Dragons, those are some bad boys over there, though. I think Carroll gets it done.
Yeah, this one's an interesting one, simply because we've kind of spent this season wondering who Carroll is, right? I mean, once Quinn Ewers went out, we were like, okay, well, what is this team? And so far, they've proven to be just as dominant, right? And so I think they're gearing up towards that long playoff run, trying to get back to state. Are we going to see, maybe Dodge versus Dodge Part 2 or something like that? But with that being said, yeah, I think Southlake Carroll's going to get this one. I think they're a little bit. I mean, it can happen, right? I think, like Shannon said, I think it's going to be a closer game than what it could be. But I am taking Southlake Carroll in this one. Scott, give us one of these Houston games. I see the list that you sent me of the two. Give me one of these games that you want to talk about right now.
Yeah, I got two of mine. I'll start off with one because I'm sure Shannon has another one, so we can go bounce back and forth. I want to start off with Katy and Katy Tompkins. Katy Tompkins they pretty much shocked the Texas high school football world last year, beating Katy. As we mentioned, first district loss for Katy since 2008 last season. And Tompkins won the district championship. Katy ended up winning the state championship. They got the last laugh. Katy wants that, man. They want that district title back. They are out for it. Similar to Westfield in spring, this is another revenge game, Katy versus Tompkins. I think Katy gets it done. Tompkins has a good team. And Cole Francis, their quarterback, is developing nicely. I think Katy just has a little bit too much, and the Katy Tigers roll on, and they'll probably end up winning and get back that district title again.
How about you, Shana? Does Katy reclaim that district title, or at least put themselves in the driver's seat for it?
As much as I too want to go underdog on this one, I think that because Tompkins did win last year, Katy wants this back. Katy wants all of their glory back. I'm going to go with Katy on this one.
Yeah, this one is interesting. As Josh Cook pointed out earlier in the week, the last time Katy did not win their district in back-to-back seasons was in 1990-1991. So it's been 30 years since Katy has not, hoisted up that district championship in back-to-back years. So it will be interesting to see that this is going to be it right here. This will be really the true test. Is this game coming up tonight? We talk about Milrow really having figured out Katy last year, and can Tompkins kind of duplicate that without him? Obviously, he's over in Alabama now. Just for fun's sake, I'm going Tompkins in this one. Let's see some craziness. Let's see. It's Friday night. It's probably going to be a little rainy. Perfect conditions for another upset. When you talk about the weather always leaves room open for the upset and close games. I think this will be a close game. So Yeah, I'm gonna go Tompkins in this one.
Bro, if it's raining, what does Katy do best? They run the football, though. Seth Davis at running back? Come on, man. Katy Tigers.
Hey, maybe they'll get some fumbles. That's all you need, right? So, hey, I got to spice things up, so I'm doing it. Let's turn it over to Shana. I know you had another game. I think Rockwall versus Mesquite. Is that correct?
Yeah, but I do want to say that, you know what, if Katy loses and if South Oak Cliff loses, I'm gonna really have to rethink streaks this year because so many streaks have been snapped. I'm gonna have to start thinking all streaks ever are gonna be broken this year. Um, Jumping into Rockwall and Mesquite, both are 3-2. Both want this desperately. Rockwall's coming off of a 2-game losing streak. You can't really fault them for them. One comes against a consistent state championship contender, Highland Park. The other one was against Rockwall Heath last week in what was arguably one of the best Texas high school football games in the Dallas area in history. But honestly, Mesquite is on a 3-game win streak, and I think they really are trying to prove that they have what it takes this season. And I'm going to do something I haven't done all season. I'm going to pick against Rockwall, and I'm going to go with Mesquite.
Oh, wow. So there you go, picking against Rockwall, saying they're going to be losing 3 in a row. Scotty, do you agree?
Man, that is wild. Rockwall put the state on the map by taking down Lake Travis in the manner that they did. Shana said it great. No shame in losing to Highland Park. No shame in losing a instant thriller classic between Rockwall and Heath. How does Rockwall bounce back? That's the ultimate question. You've had 2 tough games against 2 tough opponents, and then you have another tough opponent on your schedule who you're about to face. How does Rockwall bounce back? Does Mesquite keep it going? I think Rockwall bounces back, though. I think Rockwall gets the dub and gets the season back on track.
Yeah, we've talked the last few weeks about Dickinson probably being one of the better 2-loss teams in the state, and I put Rockwall right up there. You look at who they lost to, and especially with Rockwall, Heath, how they lost that game in double overtime. I'm picking Rockwall in this one. I think they went both maybe 3-2, and Rockwall may be coming in with the losing streak. But again, I think they're one of the better 2-loss teams in the state. Let's talk about your final game, Scott. Go ahead and break that one down for us.
Yep, the one that is interesting and probably isn't getting enough attention, to be honest, is Shadow Creek versus Pearland Dawson. Last year, Dawson won on a field goal as time expired. Shadow Creek, first 2 seasons of varsity football, they went to the state championship game and lost, and then they lost to Highland Park, and then they won the state championship. Last year, they moved up to 6A for the first time, had a decent season, but stumbled a couple times against North Shore and Pearland Dawson, and then got knocked out to the eventual state champions, Katy Tigers. Shadow Creek is interesting. They lost Kyron Jones, who's over at Baylor now. The coach's son, Duke, is now at quarterback. Shadow Creek's 2-2 on the season, so I think they're still trying to figure it out. This is the measuring stick that I think is really going to set the tone for the rest of the season for Shadow Creek. And then also, it's a theme of this week. It's the revenge game. Shadow Creek really wants to beat Dawson, losing in the manner that they did against a field goal as time expired. Also, if you're Dawson, though, Dawson went undefeated last year, won the first-round matchup, and then got spanked by North Shore. So Dawson wants to prove that they are legit and wants to make a deep playoff run. Now, they lost to Clear Falls in week 1, but that was week 1. That was 5 weeks ago. A lot has changed since then. So it's going to be interesting to see how it pairs up. I think Dawson gets it done again. I don't know if Shadow Creek, unless they have really figured it out, I think they're still searching a bit. But that's just why it intrigues me, because it has Shadow Creek found it, and how this is going to – because they play in a sneaky tough district between Pearland Dawson, and Strake Jesuit. So I don't know who's going to win the district. It will probably be Dawson, but this is a very important game.
Shana, how about you?
I gotta go with Dawson on this one too. I think that Shadow Creek is a really good team. I think Dawson has shown strength in a lot of their young players. I think we'll see Dawson take this.
Yeah, well, this one, I think I'm going to go. I think my camera froze again, so let me go ahead and reset it. There we go. I think Shawnee Creek's going to get this one. Their 2 losses are to North Shore and Bridgeland, so not really pushovers when you look at those teams. And then they beat Cypress Woods and they beat Leaf Taylor. And they only lost to Bridgeland by 10. I think Shadow Creek, you were saying they got to figure out some things. I think maybe they have figured out some things since those opening first 2-week losses. I think they're gonna get this win here. I think Shadow Creek's gonna pull it out. We got to throw some Shadow Creek some love here. So I think they're figuring some things out in 6A right now. Any other games you might want to just talk about real quick or mention or anything? Because that's really it for our show. So as always, I'd like to give you all the opportunity to give any last things y'all want to mention. Shana, let's start with you.
I don't think I do. I think, the telling games, I think we already talked about. And I think it's going to be a great week in the DFW area for high school football. Yeah, I'm good with my games.
Scotty, how about you?
Yeah, I'm checking right now to see if anything pops up that catches my attention. I think we've covered at least most of them right now that we want to cover. Unfortunately, we can't cover everybody, so that's why you got to let us know. DM us on social media. Go in the comment section on YouTube right now. Send us an email, too. So we can't cover everybody, but these rivalry games are really starting to kick off, some more than others, like a Shadow Creek versus Pearland revenge game, Katy versus Katy Tompkins, because we're finally into district play. Most teams have started already. Other teams kick off this week. So really in the next couple of weeks, we're going to start separating the men from the boys here in football and see who is really looking good and could potentially determine playoff seeding, but also, as we touched upon Westlake earlier this week, who goes Region 1 or who goes Division 1 and Division 2.
Yeah, those things will start playing out here in the next couple of weeks. That is going to be our Friday show today. Be sure to head on over to our website tonight. We have the lineups for all the games that VYPE Live will be doing tonight. We got a ton of action on the VYPE Live network, some of them on VYPE, some of them on Flow Sports. So definitely go and check some of those out. Scotty, as always, I turn to you when we close out the show to let everyone know where they can follow us.
Follow us on our social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram at VYPE Houston, Facebook at VYPE Texas. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out on podcasts. I'll be uploading this podcast here right after. And then we're going to be uploading the highlights here pretty soon of Sidewoods and Bridgeland from the game last night. Go sign up for VYPE Insider. Become the VYPE Insider. Check out and enjoy some premium content, photo galleries, long-form interviews, you name it. Throw up that graphic, my man, there it is. Sports coverage, documentarities, expert analysis, because we're growing here at VYPE, and we want to cover everybody, and this is going to be a good way to do it, so check that out. I'm going to throw it to Shana for those DFW plugs.
All right, so if you want to follow along with any DFW content, you're going to go to Twitter and you're going to go to @VYPEDFW. On Instagram, it's a little bit different. It's VYPE_DFW. I also realized that, I might be a little remiss if I didn't say that McKinney Boyd and Allen was going to be a really amazing game tonight. So be sure you're tuning into that as well.
Truer words could not have been spoken. If you want to follow anything in Austin, San Antonio, VYPE ATX, VYPE SATX, we will have our picks coming out at 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock respectively for those. And those are brought to you by Academy. Me and Will so far leading. And I can tell you, we have some different picks this week. So, hey, one of us may end up, we may only have one different pick. So one of us will be leading come next week. Can't wait for that. Until then, please subscribe to our YouTube page. We'll be back on Monday with another live show for the Austin, San Antonio, DFW area. And on Saturday, we'll got our plays of the week. We don't just stop when Friday hits. We'll be back with our plays of the week on Saturday. Till then, this has been VYPE Locker Talk Live. We'll see you at the games.